Okay, hello and welcome to the stream. So hopefully my mic is actually working. It took me, I don't know, 40 minutes or something to actually try and get this working correctly because my mic just didn't want to work when streaming live. So if someone can just give me a yay that it's working, that would be awesome. But anyway, today we're going to try something a bit different. We're going to do some live bug fixing, which could go horribly wrong or could turn out to be fairly good. So we'll see. So this is the last few bits that I've got to do before I actually release 7.0. So it may get released this afternoon, it may be tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, we'll see how we get on. I've not actually got that much left to do, so it shouldn't be too bad. One of the last things I was doing was the Ironborn Veteran Marauder. We just gave him some Angons, which is actually called Jared's in here. Yared, I don't know. That's something left over from the Brittenwalder module system. I do have a little list here somewhere. Let's have a look. Okay, so one of the features requested by Fallen Lord, which he has commissioned, is we've got a scene created by Tedium, and we need to have it alternate between my scene and his scene. So we'll probably do that now, I should think. So if we go over to scenes, I want to find, I think it's the Warlord camp. So we're just going to copy and paste that, and Warlord camp number 2. So everything else there should be the same. So now we need to go into the game menus and let's have a look for the Warlord camp. This is the one. Okay, so we need to try and work out how to make sure that the scene will change between this one and number 2. So I'm not entirely sure if it's actually going to work correctly, but we should be able to do it. If I do a finding files, if we have a look for random. I've been using Godot a lot for my own game, so I forget what all the operations and everything are for this. So I spend quite a lot of time just trying to figure out and search what they are. So we've got store random in range, which we should have some stuff down here that uses it that we can just take from. So that one will do. So if we take that, well, in game modules we can actually go try begin. In fact, we want to put that first. So store random in range, we just call that rand 1 out of we'll say 1 to 10. Hello, Husa. Yes, as soon as the mod tools are out, then we will be working on that. I mean, we have people already working on it, on models and such, but obviously we can't actually do anything with it until those tools are out. Okay, so let's say if we equal brand, actually we want probably less than. If we say less than 5, and then we're going to do all of this, right? Going to do all of this. There is better ways to do this. We could save this in a register, for instance, and instead of having to do this out twice. We save it in a register, and then we could just launch whichever scene's in that register. But for now, I think this will be okay. So then we want to go else try, and just to make sure, we'll do greater than or equal to 5. Copy that. Actually, we want that in there as well. Stick that in there, and then we'll just end that. So the way the actual coding works, and this is a bit strange, so it's a bit different to how you'd normally code things, I suppose. So, right, that wants to be Warlords Camp 2 and Camp 2, Camp 2. Okay, so now that should, if our random number is less than 5, it should put us in the first one. If it's more than 5, it should put us in the second one. Osbert, hello. ETA is possibly this afternoon or maybe tomorrow. Ah, hello, Danilo. Danilo. And hello, Nikolai. I'm doing very good, thanks. And you? So Danilo is one of the guys doing some of the artwork for the Bannerlord mod. So hopefully we can show some of that at some point in a future devlog. Okay, so Fallen Lord actually wanted this, so if you die first time, then it would do the second scene. Or do the second scene first, and if you died, it would do the first scene. So slot quest target amount 2 is if we die, right? So quest slot equal to number 2. Okay, so I think so that's the first time you enter is 0. 1 is if you win, I think. So yeah, 1 is if you win, and 2 is if you lose. So we want to go to, let's just take a quick look at this. Okay, so we set it back to 0 there. Right, so that's going to be quite a bit more involved than I thought. So I might just leave it how it is for now. Then possibly change that in the future. So for now, it will just do random. Like I said, if it's less than 5, it'll do the original scene that was there. If it's more than 5, it should do the new scene that was there. I think that's good enough for now. He also wanted the dialogue changing. So what he's got here, what an extra menu putting down, which is going to be a little bit messy, I think. So we need to change. Okay, so I think the only way to do that is we can either mess around with the slots, which I don't really want to do because they're already in the correct order. There's quite a lot going on with this scene, with this quest, so messing with these means changing a lot more than I want to. We could have a global variable for it, but we already have too many globals. So if any of you is actually a programmer, you'll know that using globals is a very bad thing. And in the module system for this, we have to use quite a lot of globals, and you can see here all these global variables that are used, which is a very bad coding practice, but it's one of the only ways you can do certain things using this module system. But if we use global variables, it means that they can be altered anywhere in the code base, which is not what we want. Can cause a lot of different bugs. That's normally quite hard to find. So I want to try and limit adding any more if possible. So I think for now we're just going to leave that as it is, and I might come back and try and alter it all once I have a bit more time. Let's save all of that. So next on the list, so I'm going to be going through from the testers on our Discord. So on the Discord, we have a test build that several people have been testing, and they've been posting bugs in there. So I'm going to try and work through that if I can. So we have some new weapons that was added by Debugging. He created the new troop tree submod, and he requested that I added quite a few more polearms, so I added those. But it turns out some of the capabilities for them and the item flags was incorrect, so we'll take a look at them next. We've just got to try and remember what they're called. Let's just look for polearms, shall we? Whoops, polearms. And I think it was these ones. I think it was these just here that I added. The capabilities of the pipe should have are thrust polearm, thrust overhanded lance. So what do we have? Carry spear. So what we got on here? We've got carry spear. It's just so we've got the trident as well. I don't know if that needs carry spear as well. Right, so let's just have a look at one of the other polearms in here. If we actually have any other polearms in here. I suppose this halberd is. So I don't actually know what some of these are for, because none of these actually use this. None that's already in here. Right, so let's just add these, what he's asked me to add. There are 3 item flags you can add to, which are cannot be used on horseback. So where is that? Okay, so these should be in their own file. So if we just go to finding files, which is header items. Okay, so this should contain all of these, and we should have can't use on horseback. So all of these need that for a start. So let's just do that. Whoops. Extra penetration and is pike. Okay, so where's is pike? Let's go back to header items. I mean, bearing in mind I've been using this for, I don't know, the best part of 8 years, there's still a lot of things I don't actually understand the way they work. There's not really any documentation for this, other than what you can find throughout the TailWolves forums. So most of it you got to try and work it out for yourself. I mean, this is pike. I'm not sure all of them want is pike. If we have is spear, right? So ITC spear. Does that mean we want is pike as well? None of my other ones actually use is pike. Okay, so one thing we can do is actually pull up native and see what they do in there. I've got native module system here, I should have somewhere. Right, okay, so there we go. So if we go into module items, let's open that with Sublime. Find where the pole arms are in here. Not there. We don't want them. Alright, okay, so they've just got many lances. Let's see if they actually use is pike. So where are we? Back to header items. Let's see. No, they don't actually use his pike. I think that's from with fire and sword, so I probably don't want to be using that. I don't actually know if they have the correct animations and stuff in native, or whether we will actually have them. So I think I'll leave that extra penetration. Let's see if anything here uses that. No, so I'm going to leave them out as well. Thrust polearm. Let's have a look at that. Nope. Thrust one-handed lance. None of them have that. I think these are all from with fire and sword. They must be. Unable to find. Okay, so I didn't go to that one either. Carry spear. Should have carry spear. Okay, yeah. Right, okay, so the actual bug for this was reported from Master Rule. The pike can be swung left, right and overhead, but does 0 damage because it only does thrust damage. Okay, so maybe we just want to add cutting damage for these. unless it's just one in particular. So I assume it's just this one. Right, okay. So we're going to cheat and just give this some cutting damage, I suppose. Well, swing damage, should I say. I suppose it's still cut damage. We'll just give it a, let's just say 25 for now, so we're roughly similar to the thrust damage from here. I don't know if it's a bug, but if you start a new game and head to King's Landing and you back out, it will teleport you to Ghoultown. I think, and then you can't continue. Yeah, I think if you save it whilst in King's Landing or anything like that, then it will cause issues. I don't know why it does that, and I have no idea how to stop it from doing that. So what else do we have? I actually fixed most of the bugs reported a few days ago. I know there's some scenes that need fixing. The mule doesn't seem to add any inventory slots, even though it specifically says +1 inventory capacity. Okay, so there is an issue with the actual game engine for that. It does show that it should give +1 capacity, but it doesn't actually do that. So I might just have to remove that, which is unfortunate. There is Viking Conquest does get around it by, I think it adds like what the cart used to be in Britain Wilder, something like that anyway. I did look at adding that, but that's going to be quite a bit of work, so I've not got round to that yet. But we could just remove that for now, I suppose. So if we go back to, I think it's in items, mule, let's have a look, mule, okay, so we just do a search for that, finding files, mule, followers camp, did I add that? There's that many things in this mod now, I just forget what's been added, what hasn't been added, what works and what don't work, because I never actually get a chance to play it. Right, okay, so here we go. So mule and caravan, the camel caravan, should increase inventory capacity. Well, for now, we're just going to remove that. And I'm pretty sure there's somewhere else we need to remove. Yeah, just here. Okay, so yeah, it does in game. It does increase inventory management skill, but it doesn't actually increase the amount of slots you can get in your inventory. And I think that's just a game engine issue. There's nothing I can actually do to adjust that. So yeah, we'll just remove them for now. There we go. So technically the bug's not fixed, but we've removed the issue, so it should be okay. It just means that mules and the camel caravans are a bit more useless now, but never mind. Right, okay, so next on the list, I think that's mostly it for the actual coding side of things. I think we just have a few scenes now that we need to change. I changed a lot of sword sizes because there were some that were incorrect. So for instance, I suppose I could show you that. So if we go back to resource. Okay, so in here we have new items in here. So let's just take a look. So this is OpenBRF, if it will load up. So this is how all the models and textures are sort of added to the game for Mount and Blade. So in here, we just make that a bit bigger so you can see what's going on. So we have some of the new swords. This is one of the new swords, and if we go to tools and add our ruler, we can actually check the length of the blade. So if we just increase that, so that's roughly 128, right? So that's pretty much the length of the blade. So if we then go and search for, if we do that, go back to items. So in here, we should have weapon length, see 122, so it's roughly the same. So I had to adjust quite a few of the scales of them and the weapon lengths in the game, so they should be quite a bit better now. At least for most of them anyway. How did you learn Mount and Blade modding? Just by trying, I suppose. I just downloaded the files. There was a couple of guides on the Tailballs forums of how to install everything and where to download it from. So I've done that and just started playing around with things and changing things and seeing what they're doing and went from there. Bearing in mind I started this like, 8 years ago or something, and I only started learning to code properly 2 years ago or so. So I started to learn stuff like C#, Python and C++. And now I've been making my own game in Godot, which uses its own language called GDScript, which is kind of like Python type syntax, but it's built off of C++. Right, okay. So let's just make sure all of that is going to compile. So if we go back to that one, compile. So I use something called Rec, which is created by Lav, and it's just an upgrade to the normal compiler. So if I show you the normal compiler, how long it takes. Okay, so this is a normal compiler, which takes quite a long time. And Recce is quite a lot quicker and adds quite a few extra debugging features. And bearing in mind this is on a NVMe, so you know my storage is actually fairly quick. So if you're doing this from a standard hard drive, it probably takes 10 times longer than this to compile. I have a question for Red Wedding. When I played it last, we managed to win, saving Rob. Is that bad? Does storyline continue? No, it doesn't matter. It's designed to either be able to save him or to let him die. So it doesn't matter which outcome happens, it will just change the story of the main quest, or of that quest line anyway. So in one playthrough, for instance, you could save him, then another one you could decide to let him die, and it will give different outcomes. Then obviously this is the rec compiler, which as you can see is a lot quicker, and it gives a few more debug errors and stuff as well. So you can see there's quite a few unused but declared variables, but we don't need to worry about them anyway. Okay, so everything compiled fine anyway, so everything we've done so far is good. So now I'm just going to start up. I'm going to start Warband, and we're going to take a look at these scenes. Now I've got to find out where they were actually posted. So someone posted which scenes were bugged. Right, okay. So down Delving, Crow Spike, Keep, Hammerhorn, Black Tide Castle and Grey Garden. So by the looks of it, they are starting in the tower. So if we just have a look here, so we can see they're starting in one of the towers, and it looks like they can't actually get it out. I don't know if these... Oh, we've got Shatstone too as well. I don't know if they use the same seed or not, so we'll check that as well. Do we know when the modding tools of Bannerlord will be coming out? Not yet. They said end of last month. Is it last month? Yeah, end of last month, and they're still not out, so no idea. Maybe this month, hopefully. But either way, I think the tools they're releasing are not the full set of tools, so whether it'll be enough to actually release a version of the mod or not, I don't know. We'll see. Right, anyway, so we'll just load this game up. So as you can see, I was actually testing this earlier. I think there's a little bug regarding this, which should now be fixed. Right, so anyway, what we're looking for Shatstone. First, I want to disable that. Make sure cheat mode is on. Oops. Cheat menu, sorry, is what I want. The mod is ready to go as soon as all the necessary tools are there. Well, not really. There's a lot of coding that has to be done. There's a lot of models that still need to be created. And obviously they all need to be put into the game, and then we've got scenes that need to be made, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done yet. I'll be doing a devlog at some point soon to show off some of the models and whatever else we're working on for the Bannerlord mod, so hopefully next week I'll do that. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Right, so if we go to locations, we'll be looking for Shatstone. There we go. Right, so I think people said there's quite a few castles here that are bugged. And I think they do actually use the same scene. So we want to go to... so with castles, they use the same siege scene as the normal scene you walk around in. If you're doing towns, they use different scenes. So So we can just adjust this one. So I think it's this tower in this corner by the looks of it. Okay, so what is that? That's 42. I can't actually remember what the entry points are, but we'll just remove that one. So if we look at the AI mesh, you can actually see it has got AI mesh, but the AI mesh in Warband is notoriously bad. At least the AI is, and they don't seem to follow it very well. So although it's fully AI meshed up, it doesn't seem to work correctly. So we'll just move that out of here. So what's that, 42? We'll just delete that. And we'll add that somewhere else, maybe over in this corner. Stick that there, and 42. Okay, so that's that one done. Down delving is next. So yeah, so it does actually use the same scene. But we actually have people wandering around this one. So if anyone actually has any bugs they've come across that they want me to look at in this stream, then let me know. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. Stick that one back down here. Probably just stick them in the same place. What else do we have? Crowspike Keep and Hammerhorn. So this was the only bug reported for these, so there may actually be more bugs, but if there is, then make sure you test them out and let me know. If you post bugs on the forums, that's always best, although you can stick them in the Discord, but just keep in mind they might actually get buried in the conversation or whatever else. Hello Liz, update should be either this afternoon or maybe tomorrow, depending how we get on with the bugs and whatever else I've got to go through. I mean, I think these scenes are the last things I've got to do, so hopefully I might be able to get it out today. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, so it's actually uses a different scene. Okay. So he doesn't actually say what the issue is with this scene. So I guess it could be that, maybe. We've got AI mesh up there. Can't see any other places. I'm going to leave this how it is, I think. So if anyone does actually manage to see the scene at some point whilst playing, let me know if you do have any issues with it. Then we've got Black Tide Castle and Grey Garden. Black Tide Castle, where's Grey Garden? Just there. So maybe just added Hammerhorn by mistake. Number 42. And then last one. again the same scene, so I'm assuming that he reported Hammerhorn by mistake, so hopefully that should be okay. Right, okay. So let's see what else has been reported, shall we? So a quick scroll through the bug report section. Seemed to get constant runtime error during the Duskindale siege when it changed from wolves to street defenders. Okay. Yeah, I think that's quite a big issue. I need to look into that at some point. It's not something I can really do on stream. The bug where I've already freed read matter. Yeah, that should be fixed. Should this be considered a bug? I don't really know what he's on about on this. That's just about the castle that you can rebuild. If you're a vassal of someone, then it goes to them rather than you, which is correct. That's not actually a bug. Okay, so that's the village you get. It does actually need updating at some point, but I'm not going to do that now. Okay, so I think this is a shader issue, or maybe it's one of the texture bug issues, because if we actually go there now, we'll just have a quick look. It should be okay. I think the way reflections work in Warband is not very good. Where are we going? Lord's Hall. Okay, so this is one of the scenes that was created by Tedium anyway, or been updated at least. Okay, so yeah, so you can see it's actually okay. And the way reflections work, you stick a texture on there and that's what it reflects. It can't actually reflect anything around it. So I suppose, I mean, we could change the texture that it reflects, I suppose, but I don't really know what to put. Because you actually see, like, the texture is of outdoors. And that texture doesn't look that great. But again, it's an old engine, so. I mean, if we take a look at that, let me just open that up. If I can remember where it is, I think it's down here somewhere. So it should be in here. So if we look at the, let's have a look. Not that. All right, okay. So we have a environment map texture, and that is it. So that's what we're actually seeing in the reflection. So we could change that, I suppose, to maybe something else. So if we check what the floor is in there, I wonder if that will actually work. So unfortunately, this is how you have to do most things. Modern Warband is you just have to try things out and see what happens, which can be quite time consuming sometimes, but right, okay, so that's not the floor, is it? floor, new one. So where was we? I can't remember what number we're on now. It's up here somewhere, right? So we change that to that. Which isn't going to work. So that's be a DXT5, right? Okay. I mean, I could make a new texture and save that as. I mean, why is that black anyway? I think if it's black, and only if it's DXT3. Oh, it's because of specular. Okay, that's DXT1. DXT5, that should be DXT1. And so should that. So we could actually open this in GIMP and change that. So if we're going from DXT1 to DXT5, we're actually making the size a lot larger than it needs to be. Got anything planned for Bannerlord? We have a devlog coming up next week, hopefully, once I get around to actually doing it. Right, okay, so here we should just go export as. I'm going to overwrite that. We want to save that DXT1, we want mipmaps for that. Okay, so that's that then. Whoops. And then next we want the bump map. So same thing again. Right, so if we now go back into there, that should hopefully no longer be black. Which one was it? There you go. So we've actually fixed something. Yay. I guess we could change another texture to DXT5. Okay, let's try it. So save as, we're going to save this as floor alpha. So DXT5 just adds an alpha channel. So we'll call that floor alpha, and what happened there? Why did it not ask me for? File, export as, that's why. Don't want PNG, we want DDS. Export. There you go, that's better. Now it's asking me for what I want. DXT5, generate mipmaps. Okay. So now we need to import the actual texture. So new texture, and that was floor alpha.dds, right? So if we exit that, come back in, that should update and give us the actual texture. Oh, hang on, what was we in there? explore alpha. Did that save that in the right place? I may have actually saved it somewhere else. Let's just check in here, shall we? Okay, so what have we done wrong here? Oh, hang on. That is why. That's better. So now we actually need new material for that, so do we need new material for that? I don't know, let's have a look. Okay, so it's actually showing up with a texture now, so let's see if it works in game. So unfortunately we have to exit the game and we'll start again, which is a bit of a pain whenever you do anything like this. So we're just going to, whoops, and didn't want to click that. Leave, we're going to save and exit so we're in the same place. Okay, so just wait for this to load up. One of the reasons I got the NVMe is because it takes so long to actually load the game. So when you're modding, you always close in and reopening the game, and it can take quite a long time. Let's have a quick look, see if there's anything else in here while that's loading up. Let's have a look in the test build bugs section. Issue with giants, that's already fixed. That one's fixed. Yeah, I think most of those are fixed. That's the issue with the sword sizes, which is now fixed. So all we need to do now is see if this is actually doing any difference at all. I mean, it won't fix the issue that we see reported, but it might make it look a little bit better at least. Okay, so we do get a reflection of the floor now. I'm not entirely sure if that looks better or not, to be honest. Probably looks worse, if anything. I guess the nice thing would be to take a picture. Take a picture from up there, convert it, and then stick that in. But I ain't gonna do that today. Anyway, our stream is now just reaching to an hour, so I think I'm gonna end it here. I think we've fixed everything I need to fix today anyway, so hopefully I can now get this all compiled up, test a few things, and get this released for either this afternoon or tomorrow, hopefully this afternoon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you all next time.